Okay. Maybe? Oh no, we're ready. We're ready. Okay. Let's do this. Hey, so hello. Welcome. Today is our 30th episode. Congratulations to all of you. That's hard to believe. The other thing I just want to mention real quick is this session might get a little heavy in terms of subject matter. We will be dealing with topics of slavery and things adjacent to that. So the goal, as always, is to do the hero thing, and so that is what we're doing. The how is complicated in this case, but not according to the Lady of Coins, so but anyway, who wants to do the recap that didn't do it last time? And we're not doing D40s. No more. You get one more chance to use yours.
I do.
That was gracious.
Yeah.
Well, you haven't used it yet.
Yeah, but okay. Yep.
Use it.
He wants to see you roll it.
I thought I was going to have to bargain for my life with the Lady of Coins or something. But
Yeah.
Nope.
That comes later. But no, who wants to do the thing?
I guess I'll take a crack at it.
Go for it.
So we started off at the base of the Colossus of Pythor. Effectively, we had a last-minute discussion about whether or not we were trying to go in stealthy or not. After realizing, wait a second, we already decided we're not going in stealthy, so we just went in.
That was hilarious because I spent the whole week prior thinking, okay, what form of invisibility are they going to go in? Who's going to be on whose shoulders? Who's going to be hiding in a box like Solid Snake? And then you guys just walked in.
Yep. So, shockingly enough, having, I believe, the shortest member of the party lead us off up the stairs, he was still the first one to be seen, and all the people in the first room were like, "Oh, okay, cool, it's the guy we invited." And then they saw
that was me
the rest.
throwing you a bone. That was me giving you a chance to do something.
And we just waltzed right in. Instantly failed some diplomacy checks or persuasion checks, whatever they are. And so then we fought some people. We fought a handful of Minotaurs and a bandit captain. We did some snazzy jumping around, jumping off things, jumping on things, throwing things. Falbin had a snazzy little knife to the hand type of thing to keep more poisonous gas from being released after the first poisonous gas was released.
That was pretty neat. Do you guys want to know how much damage that would have done to you?
I would like to know.
I want to start doing this because I feel like I get so bubbled up with meta knowledge that I want to tell you in the moment, but it spoils the immersion. But I feel like looking back on what's already happened, I feel like it's okay. Unless you guys feel like it, destroys your immersion. So the green gas was going to be 3d6 necrotic damage on the first round, and then 66 necrotic damage, and then more necrotic damage, and you get paralyzed. So nice. If you'd left that open, you'd have to fail the con saves, but could have been bad. The other ones are not as bad, but they just have weird effects on you, so
make you more likely to fail the green gas.
There was one that just smells like rotten eggs and makes you stinky, and you have disadvantage on charisma checks for the next day. So that kind of stuff. Anyway,
nice.
I forgot last time, but I'd actually like to nominate Falvin for inspiration for doing the knife to the hand bit.
Yeah, totally.
That was a pretty good move.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Excellent maneuver.
So All right, going on from there, there are a couple separate thunder waves. There are a couple other good, just rock'em sock'em Minotaur moments. Theo tried to, deflect a literal bull rush with his own horns, and was not as successful. He tried, but it didn't work as well as hoped. So eventually we fought them to a standstill. We ended up, one Minotaur ran up the stairs ahead of us, running away from the fight. Another Minotaur was like, I'm gonna petrify myself, and we're like, okay, we're gonna break this statue. And then the third Minotaur and the bandit captain eventually ended up surrendering, and we, after a decent amount of dialogue, we finally convinced her to take us to the Lady of Coins. So she basically led us up through the rest of the Colossus, past a bunch of other traps, more Minotaurs, more bandits, and eventually we finally got to the Lady of Coins, realizing that it would have been a very, very poor choice to just fight our way up the whole way. So because we were unwilling to completely disarm ourselves, Shade and Theo waited below with all the other bandits while Falvin and Magus went up and started the conversation with the Lady of Coins. And she asked specifically about, influential female characters in our characters' lives, specifically Falvin and Magus's to start with. And then after a little bit more dialogue, she said, "We'll bring the other two up. We'll talk to them too." So Theo and Shade answered the same questions, and then we got down to business. And the business was effectively her asking us to, or at least offering, in exchange for the Goblin of Malta, offering to have us take her place at the auction and go in and deliver, I guess as an auction item, a special thing that would effectively petrify everybody who looked at it when it went up for auction.
Fun birthday auction surprise.
Yes, exactly. And the whole point of that was to effectively petrify all the people who have been, I guess, supporting the Minotaur Market slavery trade in Mitros, and effectively kind of take them out of the running for that, and hopefully let it free all the slaves. Much dialogue between the party and the Lady of Coins, and the party ended up ensuing with effectively coming down to a deadlock between Theo and Falbin saying, "This is a good plan, we should do this," and Shade and Magus being like, not so good a plan. And eventually, through some series of dice rolling, Magus convinced the rest of the party that, we're not going to do this. And that's effectively where we ended. So we get to pick up on that and finish out those discussions and see if any minds change, or if we find the elusive door number 3.
Great recap. Thank you, sir. Take your freaking inspiration.
Take it!
And,
I shall, thank you very much.
use it. You know what? Just because I don't want anybody to feel left out, I'll give you the option. Would you prefer to have a straight reroll or a D40 in substitution of a single D20 roll?
Whoa!
I'm just going to take the D20. I'm going to avoid the complications.
You sure?
Just take the D20.
40.
I mean,
As cool as it sounds, I saw how Falbin's D40 went with a 4.
Think of it this way.
It was a 4.
It's kind of like the difference between a D12 and 2D6, because
if you take
math.
a 40 and you divide by 10, it's 4. It's the last. It's the bottom 4 numbers that you could get. It's almost the worst roll. It was bad.
It was so
Don't
bad.
take the D40.
I mean, I really like the visual of being like, man, I could roll a 39 on this. But
You sure could.
I'm gonna stick with just the regular inspiration, the tried and true.
Okay.
I mean, it's only failed me once with double nat ones, so
Ooh, that was rough. That was rough.
I mean, the 40 is additive though. You could have a double crit if you got a 40.
Whoa.
I don't think so.
That's how it works, right,
Just you
DM?
wait. Magus is going to get a 50 Arcana check and break the world this session.
That is actually an interesting point. If you rolled, like, if you rolled a nat 40, would that count as a double crit? Like that, it's
Definitely. I mean, otherwise, why would you pick a 40 over a 20? It would just scale the same.
That's a good point. We'll see if it happens. If it happens, we'll talk about it.
Do it.
Okay, so yes, we left off. You guys are still in the head of the Colossus of Pythor, inside where his brain would be if he had one. And Lady Coins was dissing on him hardcore. Well, she did seem slightly impressed that he is making some humble moves as of late. So, anyway, so you guys are all in the head together. It's kind of cramped. It's luxurious, but there's a lot of people here, and the tensions are high. So, I think at the end of the last session, Lady Coins said something like, "Good luck to you. I hope you can find the goblin on your own somehow." So where do we pick up?
I do have one burning question. So there are red curtains around the entire head in the illustration.
Yes.
Are those just hanging over the wall, and there's no mirror, no windows? Because before it was just the eyes that were windows, right?
So because it's irrelevant at this point, I'm comfortable telling you. This is all because of a decision that was made in session 1, with the mirror and the Medusa gaze, and that ending up not having an effect. So, in the module as written, the inside surface of the head is lined with mirrors. And if combat initiates, she pulls a rope, and all the curtains drop, and she just gazes out at the mirrors, and
eating.
And no matter which direction you look, you get potentially petrified. So, yeah. But
this is our campaign now.
It sure. Hey, don't ever think that your decisions don't matter, because they absolutely do. Anyway, thanks for asking. So you're there. Lady of Coins has her hand on the spherical shape underneath this orb that you now know is basically a bomb, and a rock bomb, and she's kind of waiting for you to either leave or make a move.
May I ask something before we go?
It would seem only fair.
Can I see your invitation to the auction? Simply because being familiar with it will help me find another like it.
I know you to be a talented man of the arcane. Perhaps this is simply some trick to get in an easy way. And DM speaking, is it?
No,
You're legit curious.
I am using this, I am wanting to become familiar with this so I can use locate object in whatever heist we're planning to make it easier to find whatever other thing we're doing.
I'm gonna have her roll an insight.
If we don't know what we're looking for, it's kind of hard to find it.
Right. Yeah.
Because I think at this point she wouldn't be too keen on helping you, because you guys have basically said no to her demands. But I'm gonna have her do an insight check, because if it seems like you're not trying to trick her, she might be more into it. Okay, so she actually rolled. I'll tell you, she rolled an 8 total. So she's suspicious of you, and even though you are being earnest, she thinks this is a ploy. So she says, "I think it would be more entertaining for you to make your own way. The clock is ticking."
Well, in that case, I have a question for your assistant here.
Makaira speaks for herself. Ask freely, but know that my patience is beginning to wear. And she, looks at the sphere kind of like with adoration as Makaira kind of steps forward. She's put down her spear and shield, and she says, I do not think we should speak here.
Very well, if you're willing to come with us.
I must be on my way anyway, so yes. My Lady Moxina, is it all right? And the Lady of Coins, who you can now guess her name is Moxina, says, yes, be on your way. And she just gives you a glance, a sharp glance, and starts to head down the stairs ahead of you.
I guess we follow. I have other things to say, but I believe our welcome has run out.
Yep. You can surely try if you have a burning question.
And a D40.
Right.
And a D40.
No.
You sure? Now's the time.
Falvin starts walking.
Okay. I might just say, I know we didn't agree on this, but I see we both have distaste for the Titans, and I hope that perhaps we can agree on that in the future.
She doesn't speak, but she nods as you proceed to leave. And you see the Lady of Coins. Until next time. So you guys start to head back down the massive body of the Colossus, which you guys are already tired from fighting and from going up all these stairs, and you're heading down. It's getting pretty late. It's almost 10 o'clock now. Makaira leads you. We're not going to do movement all the way down here. We'll say that at this point you've made it into the foot where you entered, and you can exit out the same door, and then you're down at the bottom of the statue.
Are we alone in this room?
Yeah, in the foot you are alone. You could also go outside.
I don't know who's outside.
Fair, yeah. So before you leave, yeah, we'll say you guys are all down in the right foot of Pythor.
And I'll turn to Makaira and say, Queen Valis asked us to find the Lady of Coins, and our endeavors resulted in needless conflict and the death of one of her, soldiers. Why couldn't Valis have just asked you?
Roll a persuasion check.
First roll.
It's an 18. Is that where you want it?
Yep.
Okay. She kind of clenches her jaw. You can hear the wood of her spear kind of squeak under her grip. And she says, I should not tell you, but Lady Valis does not know. She does not know that I am working for Moxina.
Oh.
Forgive me then if I am concerned about a potential conflict of interest.
It is a long story, but I guess it's not that long. I am Amazonian, as you know, as is Moxina. I arrived on these shores much later than she did, as you know, Falvin. But I knew the troubles that beset our land, Theo. And I discovered who the Lady of Coins was and what her aims were, and the hope that she instilled in me, the hope that might somehow replace the fear that drove me to leave the place. And I had already at the time taken a position with the Queen, and I shouldn't say more. Not for my own sake, but for the safety of both the Queen and the Lady of Coins, who I greatly respect and wish to be safe.
You do realize that keeping this from Valis is putting her in danger, if not physical, political.
It is too late to undo what I have done. And to make it known, even what I've done now is... I must keep the secret. Magus or anybody, roll an insight check.
I'm not the best, so I hope other people do too.
Yeah, like, whoever wants to roll can roll.
So did someone else want to...
It's that 1 from Shade, it's a 9 from Magus.
I feel like we all should just kind of...
I'm inciting nothing out of this.
Oh, that was rude.
So bad at this.
That was rude. Rude doesn't have very good insight.
Okay, well, re-roll with Theo's sheet. So Theo, the obvious comes to mind. The Queen is the goddess of wisdom. Like, she may not know the specifics, but she surely knows that Makaira is probably keeping something from her. That's what you would think. Do you do anything with that information, or?
I suppose I'd kind of throw it out there. People can't read my mind. We are in a hive mind, apparently. Not yet. I haven't infused that item.
That hive mind would be chaos.
Yes, it would. Yeah, I'd put it out to the group. Be like, hey, she probably already knows, so.
Right. Makaira looks a little stressed at that. And she says, I've said far too much. I know that you wish the best for the Queen, and coming here, though I may not agree with your decision, it seems to come from a good place. I see no reason to fear you. I just hope that your discretion can be counted on. If anybody is to tell the Queen, it will be me, please.
So then I think you should. Looks like the secrets are weighing on you a bit much.
It is difficult when in the early days I felt like I was a tool used by one against the other. Valis has always disapproved of Lady Moxona's methods, even if she agrees with the symptoms she seeks to fight. And the Lady of Coins, though she respects Valis's true love for the city and its people, she finds her weak and compromising in her efforts to keep the peace between factions. And so they've always been two sides of the same coin. But over the years, I have really truly grown to love and respect them equally. And I find myself unsure of who to follow. My queen by birthright, or the queen who I believe knows her city.
Have you considered trying to be the bridge to have them work cooperatively?
If I say anything, the queen is watched so closely. I can see the guards in her palace. They are listening, all the ways they are listening, and I feel the less I tell her, the more I keep her safe.
The things you don't know can still kill you.
This sounds like Amazonian wisdom. I will find a way and a time. What will you do now?
Feel that we're probably going to have quite a lot of discussion of our own. I, for one, feel we need to learn more details about this Minotaur Market. As we said above, it's not that we disagree with what the Lady of Coins is trying to do. It's just the method might be incomplete. Possibly a little short-sighted.
Well, I believe that the Queen would encourage you to go see for yourself if you have not already. It is not a pretty sight. And I know that if she were aware of a way to legally or to prove that what is going on is not according to the laws of oaths that have bound this land since its inception. If there was a way to do it in that way, I believe the Queen would support you in it. And if you are successful, then the Lady of Coins will have what she wants, with the exception of the money, which she is welcome to plunder at at any other point. But I think you have something that both of them lack, and that's agency. But I must be going. I will be expected soon.
Would you be one that could get word from us to the Lady of Coins if necessary?
Yes, I could do that for you. And if not me, I know how to use her network.
Jade would look to the rest of the parties. Are we done with her? Any other questions?
I think so. It's probably best if we don't leave the statue at the same time together.
That was my thought as well.
Yes, you go on. I will leave a different way.
Understood.
And before you ask, I think it's better you not know. It's through the butthole. No, it's just a different...
That sounds like a long drop.
It's just a different route.
I mean, like this one over here?
Oh, shut up. Oh, you're not supposed to see that. Yeah, it's through the other foot. But where did the lighter fluid come from? There's a thug over there just playing on his PSP, just like doo.
I guard the trapdoor.
Trapdoor. Cool. Do you have anything else to say to her before she leaves?
No.
Okay. She runs upstairs, and you guys are alone again.
Okay.
Well, guess we probably should find somewhere where we can talk.
Yes, we have a lot to talk about.
I believe so.
If I could put forth a suggestion, honestly, my main concern from this last exchange is how split we were and unable to come to a resolution. And I don't want to just be able to talk over everyone. I've been around enough old philosophers to know that rhetoric doesn't make you right. Would you want to go back to the academy? Master Makion's a bit of a night owl. He espouses eclecticism, which is the philosophy of choosing which the moral system that is best suited for the occasion. I feel like if anyone could give us advice on how to come to agreements within our group, it would be him.
That could work. But before even seeking outside input, I would like to better understand, well, Valbin, particularly your motivations. You seemed rather passionate, and I would rather understand each of our own motivations so we can hopefully come to a consensus on our own.
Monologue.
Well, perhaps first, like, where do we want to go to talk this over? Because we're currently still in the ladies.
It's best to do it in the fortress of your enemy. Or your frenemy, right?
I mean, I feel like our because we had rooms at the palace, right?
You did.
We did.
Yeah.
The
I feel like
palace
that
is
would be
probably
a poor
watched.
choice. That would be a poor choice. Possibly the
there's
academy.
my apartment. Yeah, the academy might be the most neutral area, I think, because like we have rooms in the palace. We have, I'm pretty sure any inn around town would give us lodging, but they would know who we are. And we might get a crowd.
Yeah, and it's like, it's late, but it's not so late that people aren't like
right.
partying and drinking right now.
And there was my apartment in Skid Row, but that's a shared apartment, so.
And they were roommates.
Oh, okay. So, assuming the rest of you don't have any issue with it, I would recommend the academy. Find somewhere secluded there where we can actually talk.
That sounds reasonable.
Theo, you down with that?
I mean, sure.
Sure.
What do you really think?
You know, let's talk it out.
I honestly don't know what you mean by that.
He means he's ready to kill something and he's tired of talking about it. And where's the damn bird?
Well, here's the thing. The auction is not for another 2 nights anyway, so you gotta, you got time to kill.
Well, let's start planning the heist.
Well, I mean, from the perspective there is, if we reach a consensus by the party, we might send word right back to the Lady of Coins and be like, you know what, we've thought about it. We actually want in on this.
I don't think.
Yeah.
I think we burnt that bridge. I don't think that's there anymore.
I mean, okay, that's possible.
I mean, she seemed pretty pissed there at the end, and she's gonna make plans without us.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, that could be the second part of the conversation. All right,
Okay.
Who are we gonna go rob?
We'll start with the alchemist.
Oh my god.
We'll get the supplies we need from him.
Windexio? Come on. He was fine.
No. I hate that guy.
Okay.
Hey, there was nobody in that that tent in the Agora, the menagerie tent.
Ooh.
Dun,
Right,
dun,
just things that were locked up.
Oh yeah, and
And
goblins.
sentient.
Right.
Yeah.
So, all right. Shall we move back through town then? I like
Try to
make the
move
DM happy.
somewhat.
I can make people invisible.
I will say that since it is dark now and most people are off the streets, I'll give you guys advantage on your roll, or well, I will roll with disadvantage on the check, which is a D4.
I'd like to think at this point we would specifically not be wanting to mob, so we'd be like cloaks up and stuff.
Yeah.
Like.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, Falvin's going to be invisible anyways, just from hiding. But
That's right.
Yeah, you're fine. I went ahead and rolled.
Okay.
Sneaky.
Okay. So we arrive at like Magus's office, like TA office in in the academy.
Okay. Let's see. I gotta get different music than that metal place. Let's see. Hilltop Night? What does that sound like? That's pretty quiet. Ooh, Dusk over Delphi. That sounds good. Oh, sorry. I'm over here.
And I will also ritually cast Detect Magic, just so I have like just extra, like there's no one spying on us, sort of thing.
Okay, cool.
You know, in the academy, everything is fucking magical.
I mean, actually, yeah. And I like to. Let's bring back the Mitros map. I like to think.
Yeah, I cast it and go like, oh god, and then close my eyes.
I like to think it's pretty quiet, but there are. Hold on one second. There are people who are out and about because they're young, and they are partying, and there's a couple enchanters that are running around doing like magic laser tag, where they're using like harmless rays of magic and tagging each other with them. So
oh, that looks fun. Can I use my rifle?
Yeah, totally.
I got rubber bullets.
Oh my god.
Magus, where are you leading them as you go into the academy?
Yeah, so like I basically said like I assume like I have like either like a small apartment or an office at the academy.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so you move through the sprawling grounds, and like the shortcuts, like the little the spots that take you past like the little maintenance buildings and all that stuff. The green grass of the well manicured lawns is cool under your feet. And
we only trip over 2 laser tag players.
Yeah, actually, can we dex saves from everybody?
Sorry, excuse me.
Yeah, and eventually you do find yourself at the dormitory where Magus's apartment is, and make your way in.
So, like, is there somewhere to sit, or is it just like?
He's got beanbags all over the place.
And is there like paintings and things to drink, or is it like a sparse environment?
You drink paintings?
Maybe. Are there Maltese goblins?
With my eyes.
I mean, it's like so let's see.
Yeah, feel free to describe your dorm. Right?
Your corner.
Yeah, so it's not a big room. It'd be like 4 of us gathering back in like a dorm room at college.
Right.
Except it was made for only one person. So there's only like one bed in there. There's not any sort of like nice things to like something to drink or anything because he left on a trip a few days ago. There might be like some crackers. But
eating stale in the corner.
Yeah. It's pretty like there's room for people to gather, but like there's clutter accumulated in all corners and stacks. Like it's not a very neat area. There's shelves with just like haphazard scrolls and a desk that's like half covered with different there's like there's some runic sigils on like on the center, and there's paper stacked on one side and some plates stacked on another. And
Kyra she's walking around, kind of poking around. She says, "Well, they say it's the mark of a genius, and I will have to take their word for it."
Oh.
Ooh.
And she starts eating those crackers.
And yeah, there's probably like some there's some like wall hangings, some nice woven designs.
A Scarface poster.
Probably more like there's one that's just like a nice like geometric design, and there's another one that's more of like a runic design.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Wow, you thought this out. Cool.
No, I hadn't.
Oh,
that
hey.
was off the cuff.
You improv this. Nice job. Cool. You get to DM next session.
Oh wait, you're giving me power over the world?
Nope.
Fantastic.
Nope.
Yes, but he gets to come up with a family. He gets to come with a family tree, and you have to remember everything.
No, so we're gonna do a flashback session, and it's gonna flashback a long time to where you guys are all single cell organisms. It'll be great.
The good days.
Yeah, so Kyra plops down in one of the bean bags with the crackers and says, "So, I am hopefully less confused. I don't know. I'm very confused. What should we do? Or what should you do? It's not up to me."
Well,
I think we all just Shade.
Shade would like lean his glaive against the wall and just kind of find a spot, kind of close the door up against the wall, and just sit down on the floor and just kind of lean back against it. Say, well, questions I have is I really would like to know, especially Falben's, but also Theo's kind of underlying motivations that convinced you that what she was offering and what she was planning to do was the best course of action. I don't contest that she was trying to accomplish something great. I just want to understand what made you okay with the methods.
Once you become familiar with the evil at hand, I think you will be more open to pursuing alternative actions.
Good line.
All right. Would you care to try and enlighten me? I'll admit, I don't know much of the Minotaur Markets. I've never visited it in the few times I've been to Mitros before this. I've typically stayed on the outskirts of town. The farthest I've gone in is to just the Iron Sentinel's branch here, and then left.
I will not speak of the Minotaur slave trade specifics. I think it is best for you to see what happens with your own eyes in broad daylight before everyone else. Know that what happens in secrecy is far worse than what is performed in public. What I can say is to have your freedom of choice taken from you, to have your loved ones separated, to have your desires stolen and replaced with monotony, relentless work, and no hope. And to inflict this upon as many as your coin may acquire makes you my enemy.
I would like to roll an insight check.
Cool, go for that. Craigie,
From the standpoint of
yeah, go for it.
what I'm looking for is how much of this is like resonating from Falbin's first-hand experience versus what he's actually like watched, and how much of that Shade would actually be picking up on.
Makes sense.
Is what I'm.
While you're doing that, Craigie, I'm gonna give you inspiration for that, because while that was a fine bit of RPing, it was also a really like mechanically considerate way to put it, where it's like we as a group and you as a player like haven't, like, you don't have the information yet, and so like that was a way for you to be like, let's see what happens when the DM describes the situation. Anyway, like, very well done. Yeah, with that insight check, I mean, well, Falvin, I'll let you make the call. The 12.
What was your question?
Was how much of from what Falbin's saying would Shade be picking up on that this is his first-hand personal experience, not just something that he has observed and witnessed?
What specifically do you mean is his first-hand experience? What are you looking for there?
Having your freedom taken away, having your loved ones pulled from you, having like literally being enslaved with no hope.
Let's see here. How long have we been traveling calendar-wise, Daniel?
Oh, great question. Let me open this up. So it's
like close.
It's the first of like Fantasy July, and it's been about a month and a half, maybe. No, about a month, because you guys planted the Ultraya on the 8th of the previous month, and I think that was roughly 10 days after you started. So, yeah, about a month.
I would say with that check, and the context and where we're at this point, that Falvin is being more open with you than he would be to others, and you can tell that this is personal.
Okay. Shade at least would kind of I don't know how to describe it, but he'd definitely be like I see. I can definitely concur and understand that being something truly horrible. And it needs to be stopped. I just worry that the method of how it is stopped matters.
I could agree with you, but all that it takes for evil to prevail is for good men to do nothing.
I think
right.
Plato said that.
I hesitate.
Inaction will maintain the status quo.
Yes, but action urged in the execution of deeds that are extreme, I guess, is the same rationale that people like Estor use to justify brutality of another people. I see the paradigm. I mean, maybe this is distilling too much from just what we've learned specifically about the Dragonlords. Is I see we ride the risk of acting too hastily and too extreme to effectively put ourselves in the seat of Estor, or do we find the balance to be the ones that stand up, that should have stood up to those like Estor and prevented that brutality? I don't want to take an action that will perpetuate misery of one group or another. I feel this is a weighty consideration, which is why I at least didn't feel that we could give, that at least I could give my assent to cooperation with the Lady of Coins plan without some amount of deliberation and consideration. We've seen where the path of Estor leads, and we wish to be those that would stand up against people like him. And that is where my conundrum lies. At what point does the extreme action become the only action that can be taken to stop worse actions? Or is there a middle ground?
This is going to be an interesting line. You are young. And I have wrestled with this for myself. And I have come to the conclusion that sometimes an unsavory action is the only way to resolve a problem. I am an assassin. This is not an abnormal thing for me. I recognize it is for you.
I agree. I mean, as it is in the forest with the Maenad, I told Magus specifically I would be willing to undertake the unsavory action if it was what was required. I'm just trying to understand before I make a decision if this is the required unsavory action or if it is just the easy choice.
And I think the only way that you will be able to resolve that for yourself is to see the Minotaur Market for yourself. As for me, if I saw someone slowly raking a dagger across an innocent child's body, I would not hesitate to slit his throat. Worse than that is happening in this town.
Shade would just nod.
What are Magus and Theo thinking about? Or do they have anything to add?
Well, Shade wanted to know Theo's opinion on the matter. And Theo would say something like, I've seen firsthand what happens when power goes unchecked. When individuals are valued less than the whims of those who might. It happened in my homeland when I was 16, when it was taken from us by cultists, by those who cared little for life, for freedom. I've lived the life of an outcast, but it taught me resilience, and it taught me to value freedom above all. Seeing these slave traders, it's like reliving those days long ago, witnessing the same contempt for life, the same crushing of spirit. I cannot, and I will not stand by while others suffer the same fate as my people did. It's a grim business, yes, but sometimes we must use the tools at our disposal to root out the greater evil.
Hot damn.
This is just a means to an end. Together we can put a stop to this vile trade, ensure no more lives are spent in shackles. This device, not a tool of destruction, but of liberation. The bystanders will be safe, and when the dust settles, they'll see what these traders truly are. We'll break the chains, out of the market. Sometimes you need to make a bold statement, a resounding cry of defiance to disrupt the status quo. And this would be ours.
Kyra is just mouth agape. You had started talking and she had like a small, like a little bit of ink left in her pen, and she just goes, oh, this will be enough for whatever quip comes next. And then she hurriedly has to like dig out her ink well as you start to wax poetic. Wow. Damn. Yeah. Megas?
I think the reference to the main ads is important. I feel like that whole encounter is what we should be striving for as a group of heroes, and apparently Balmetria thinks the same. I don't think, like, the fear of becoming what Estor was is always a concern. But I don't think our guiding principle should just be what wouldn't Estor do. We may need to be the hand that sweeps. But I still hold to my position for three main reasons. And three main differences that I hold from this situation versus the situation with the main ads. Like, when we went to encounter Demetria, like, we didn't hold back. We did, but we weren't. We acted decisively. We killed those goatlings. We killed the main ad.
The goatlings were also
hesitate.
Real shitheads.
Yeah, we didn't hesitate to like just end those goatlings in the kitchen before they even had a chance to do anything. But our goal wasn't to kill goatlings. Our goal wasn't to kill the main ads. Our goal wasn't to stick it to Demetria. Our goal was to save the kids. And because we were working toward that goal specifically, we were able to hold back when we needed to. We were able to spare the main ads with her children. And when it came to sit down at the table, like, we didn't immediately enter into conflict with Demetria herself. And even though it came at great personal cost, which, I mean, I'm not saying that should happen every time, But because we put whatever distaste we had seen for the abhorrent acts that Demetria was doing against those children, we were able to get the Ultria tree. It was because of her skill getting that cutting that we have the tree that we have.
It pats the baby buggy.
It barks.
So the first problem that I have with the Lady of Coins' actions is that her actions are taken for vengeance and not to say... they are more tilted toward punishing those who are doing wrong than toward saving those who are innocent. And at this point, I'd like to ask the DM how much Magus knows about the intricacies of how the oaths work, as we've kind of discussed in chat.
Sure. So, I guess to put it real simply, you would know enough from, like, hearing, what's the Nerdigan kid's name that's, like, your rival? What's his first name?
Oh, Spiro.
Spiro, yeah. Little shithead. You would know enough from, like, him, like, bragging about how many servants they have at their estate, that basically his father goes to the market and buys, you know, whatever Minotaurs he wants. The oath is sold to him, so it's sold from an auctioneer or the market administrator, sold to the Nerdigan family or to Terran Nerdigan, and the terms differ based on what the accused nature of the Minotaur is. So sometimes it's like, oh, this Minotaur was, you know, delinquent on their taxes, or they broke a big barrel of wine or something. Yeah. And that will generally dictate, like, the cost, or like how long the term is. It's pretty rare that there are lifelong oaths, but they do happen, and those are the ones that fetch the highest prices, are the lifelong oaths.
The main thing I'm asking about is the issue about the oaths can only be released by either the owner explicitly releasing the oaths, or the oaths being paid off, and that killing or petrifying the owner does not release the oath.
Correct. Yeah. So
that's the main thing.
You would know from your conversation with Moxina, the Lady of Coins, that she was basically using the gold that she stole from these nobles' houses when she went in and petrified them, to then purchase the oaths from them on the free market. So.
Okay. So, yeah, back into character. Like, this action of petrifying the nobles, petrifying the owner of the oath does not nullify the oath. Even after this device goes off, the Minotaurs will still be bound. It is not saving anyone. It's sending a message, yes. It is enacting vengeance, yes, but it isn't saving the Minotaurs.
Well, you would know that she probably plans to go buy them.
Well, yes, but that is a separate action that could be enacted without setting off the device.
I see.
And fewer auctions will occur, and fewer people will buy new oaths, and fewer slaves will have demand on the market. Maybe not these Minotaurs, but others.
Okay. True, but, well, I still have some other things. The second issue that I have with this is that the fact that she was able to buy her entry with the Goblin of Malta means that there will be things at this auction that are not Minotaurs. This is not specifically a Minotaur auction. This is an auction for illicit goods, which I don't think we would necessarily disapprove of goods being bought under the table. And it means that not everybody coming to this auction is coming to purchase a Minotaur. This isn't targeting, like, unlike her other actions of hunting down specific nobles, this is just targeting the kind of people who purchase Minotaurs instead of the specific people who have purchased Minotaurs. And that speaks to me too much of the mindset of Estor, of Sidon, of seeing a group of people, a demographic of people as the enemy, rather than specific instances or specific people or specific crimes.
I would assume that she would have good intelligence of the individuals that would be there, and that there would be a substantial amount of them there, specifically for the purchasing of flesh.
But and she also told us that
if these other people were caught up in it, then they could also be removed from the petrification.
She also stated that getting those innocents out would be purely our prerogative, and she would not help with it. And she's not providing it. She didn't offer to provide us information when I specifically asked. That's, I mean, again, it's a similar, again, the sweeping hand approach. If we knew that all of these people were people that both owned and took advantage of those oaths in ways as Falvin has indicated, then yes, that if we could identify all of them as people that did that, then yes, the sweeping hand approach is a reasonable option.
The third issue that I have with this is it doesn't seem to take into account what happens next. As an example, I hate Lutheria. She threatened my family. I want to see her destroyed entirely.
Falvin kind of squints and looks at you when you say this, but you may not notice.
But I also know the seat of power she holds, and her place as ferrying the souls of the dead to their next destination. If I had the power, and if I were to destroy her without consideration of what comes next, and I believe her worthy of destruction. But even so, if I were to do that, it would be a cosmological catastrophe. We are fated to undo the Titans, to bring down Sidon. But I believe that if we were to do that right now, it would not solve the war between the native inhabitants of Thelia and the mortal races. There is work that we have to do before that happens in order to make sure that the removal of the Titans is the end. In this case, what do you think is going to happen here in Mitros if the majority of the ruling class is suddenly petrified in a mass event? We know that King Acastus is vain. We know that he cares very much about his appearance as a strong ruler of the people. Mitros has just come through a near catastrophic event itself, and he had to share the glory with us for ending that. And at the end of his speech, he stated that heroes would no longer be needed because his forces would be strong enough to ensure the peace. If this goes through, his hand will be forced. I would put down money that he will at least institute martial law throughout the city, and given the counsel that he keeps, the soldiers of Sidon would be more than happy to help him enforce that. And even with that, the economic and structural incentives to put people into bondage based on their oaths would not go away. It would still be done.
Falbin would look up as close as he can to your eyes without problems.
Mm-hmm.
And say, the oath will end. It is coming. Many we have interacted with have told us, have inferenced that it will be soon. Do we buy a day by waiting? A week? A month? A year? How many suffer while we wait? What do we get by changing the ruling class of Mitros? Change. Will it all be good? No. No change ever is all good. It will be different. Power will shift. Economic status will shift. The Lady of Coins is not infallible, nor is she perfect. But she and I understand, or rather have decided, that we must act rather than watch. You make valid points. Shade?
I think we keep coming back to the same argument, and I think there's a fallacy in that argument. The argument that you and Theo have both posed is that either we act with the Lady of Coins, or we do nothing. And that's not the options that Magus and I are looking at. It's either we act with the Lady of Coins, or we find a different action that we feel is more true to our purpose than the Lady of Coins. And it may very well be that we just instigate an action around what the Lady of Coins is doing. Now, just putting the option, the thoughts together from what Magus has said and from what you have said, Valbin, I feel that a conversation with Valis would definitely be in order. From the standpoint of, we have multiple things we're looking at. We're looking at how do we end as much of the slave trade immediately as we can, with as little, basically, societary collapse accompanying it. So if with that, the Lady of Coins' plan is a drastic one, it would make a statement. So the question is, do we seek to ensure that key people that are, for lack of a better term, untainted, are not present at that auction. And that Valis, not necessarily King of Cassis, but Valis, has contingencies in place to maintain the city in working order. And finally, that in either before or after, the four of us look at how do we maybe not dismantle, but start the chain of breaking down the structure that puts those oaths in place. I fully agree that inaction is probably one of the worst options. I know I can't remember it, but I can feel it at times. The fury and frustration of watching Estor do what he did and doing nothing. That's not something I would have us repeat. I want to take action, and if I'm completely honest with you, I want to go along with the Lady of Coins plan. But there's enough uncertainty with it that it gives me pause. And that pause, I think, to me at least, means there's something we can find a way to do it better, or at least influence it to have it come out better.
Falbin is visibly moved by your words. He's been shaking his head, and he looks up and he says, "Tell me that you will act on ending the slave trade in Mitros."
As is close to looking him in the eyes without causing problems, Shade will look at him and say, "I will act."
Swear an oath.
This is where it's like, I want to be clear that my oath is not coupled to the Lady of Coins plan. I swear to act when it is needed and in the best plan that we can agree to.
Falbin nods and says, "As do I."
Well, Theo would be like, "This is not a decision that I have made lightly. I believe we can influence this and still use the same method. These wealthy attendees, they're part of the problem. A part of this repugnant trade that binds souls and breaks spirits. By petrifying them, we're disrupting the system, turning the tables. It's a harsh measure, yes, but sometimes drastic actions are necessary to shake society out of its apathy. Look at Rue, soaring freely in the sky. Everyone deserves that freedom, that chance to stretch their wings, to rise above their circumstances. But these slave traders and the wealthy who fund them, they're clipping the wings, binding the feet. That's the real atrocity here. The device would turn them into statues, which is a cruel irony, isn't it? They who saw others as mere objects less than human, will now know what it feels to be frozen, powerless. It's a stark message, a warning to others who partake in this vile trade. But it's not about revenge. I'm not a monster. I wouldn't wish permanent harm on them. It's about justice. About making people face the ugliness they've been a part of. And I'm certain that petrification can be reversed when the message has sunk in, when real change has started. I know it's not perfect, not entirely right. But sometimes to change the world, we must tread gray areas and make tough choices. Today we make ours. This is our stand against the chains that bind. We can influence the plan, and we can mitigate innocence. But I believe that this is something that must be done.
One last thing that I would pose to both of you, Falbin and Theo. And then I think we need to get some sleep. Is that if there is an option, and I don't know that I have one yet, but if there were an option that would set more Minotaurs free, but also let the nobles off without punishment, would you take it?
No.
What would prevent tomorrow from looking like today? Would be my question.
That is the... I'm speaking in hypothetical and ultimate terms. So if there were an option that would... If the option that ultimately results in the most freedom for the most Minotaurs also means that the nobles go free, would you take it?
Jill, no.
My issue with that is if the nobles can tomorrow repurchase the Minotaurs and enslave them once again, nothing has changed.
There are ways of preventing that. Like, as with our encounter with Demetria, we did not have to kill Demetria in order to keep her from abducting children. She is now bound by oath to maintain peace with Astoria. But we, in effect, let her go free.
If we could free Minotaurs, and the nobles survived, as it were, unharmed, but were incapacitated from repeating the sins of their past, then I would be amenable to the plan.
Okay.
It would not. These slave traders, this is not something that they have done once. This is not something they have done twice. This is something that they have decided day after day after day to do. To enslave, to torture, to bind. And you would let them continue to do evil acts? No.
Demetria has been turning children into Maenads for 500 years.
We're not there. We cannot control that now. We are here. We can control this.
We could have killed Demetria. Punish her for 500 years of innocent lives transformed into monstrosities.
And that was for the greater good.
Offer. And that's the question Magus is asking.
This is not for the greater good. not stopping evil is not convenient, and only to be done when it is convenient. Perhaps you will change your mind after seeing what it is that these people do to those that they capture, and to those that they enslave for, at times, reasons that are disproportionate to the circumstances that they are put through. Theo feels very strongly about this because this is very similar to what happened in his homeland, and he is not going to let this shit go.
I don't think Theo has ever felt as strongly about anything in this game. I'm still like,
except maybe killing birds.
I'm still like in shock. Like it's funny. Like I'm staying quiet because there's like I'm listening and I want this to continue, but I also am like, if I'm quiet, they're gonna be like, oh, Daniel's bored. I'm not bored. I'm not bored. As you get to this point, suddenly there's a knock at the door.
Whoa.
Shade, you gonna get that?
Yeah, Shade would stand up and grab his glaive.
No, hold on. This is big.
Vegas was like, oh yeah, we're somewhere safe.
This is my room.
Well, then I'll let you get the door. As I stand like protective looming over his shoulder.
Yeah, Magus, you go and you open up the door, and this very crowded room behind you, just full of your friends and allies, and it's Master McCann, and he is he's a half orc, although he looks a little more human than orc. He does still have kind of the trademark pronounced lower canine teeth. Bronze skin tone with he's got facial scars and wrinkles, salt and pepper beard, these blue, very comfy evening time robes, and of course his spell book affixed to his waist. You open the door and he says, "Magus, I saw your light on."
I mean, you know I often have visitors.
Well, but you see, I've run out of popcorn, and I wanted to see if you had any.
He's got some stale crackers.
He's got like a big empty bowl.
Just the kernels.
I mean,
just the kernels.
I haven't restocked in about a month. Let me see if I have anything.
Poppycock, let me look around. And he steps in, and he's kind of going through your cabinets. And he's the oldest scholar at the academy, but he's very muscular. Magus, you would know that he lived out in the natural world for decades out in the southern steppes, just living in solitude and perfecting his abjuration after coming back to the academy. Hold on, what does an abjurer do? Oh, right. So he's going through your cabinets, and he, well, I guess you don't have any. And he snaps his fingers and just like teleports a bag of popcorn into his hand. Says, "Fine. Anyway, you all look like you've been steeped in debate."
Just like
I'm going to look over at Shade and it's like, I know you wanted to do other things first, but he is here now.
And he starts, he casts like a small like bonfire on your countertop, and he's like cooking the popcorn in the bowl as you're talking.
I hope that's granite.
Shade would look to Theo and Falbin and be like, I guess?
I think we know where everyone else stands here. We may as well get another party involved with this.
So who wants to pose the purely hypothetical
he
debate
says,
practice question?
He says, keep it hypothetical. I honestly, the fewer details, the better. It's about the syntax. It's about the argument. Just tell me what the conundrum is. Don't bother with the specifics. Where is the gridlock?
Coin has a bomb.
No, I don't want. I don't want to know.
Just trying to super detailed.
What are these words?
And
Lady,
it's gonna happen in
coins?
2 days.
Hypothetically.
We are having.
He says, move aside, young woman. Let me sit here. And he scoots Kyra up out of the beanbag as he sits
Vegas'
down.
eyes go wide.
Anyway, lay it on me, son.
We are having an argument over
Ethics.
yes.
Ethics.
The appropriate level of violence against those who enact violence, and what acceptable violation of freedom can be enacted against those who violate the freedom of others. And we are at an impasse, so if you could help us maybe not resolve the question, but how to act as a group having these disagreements.
Well, yes, as you know, I'm probably not the one to give you a straight answer about this. This question is very complex, as are many ethics questions with regard to the well-being of sentient creatures such as us. And as an eclectic, as you know, I consider different ethical perspectives. Some focus on minimizing harm and maximizing overall well-being. Some might suggest that actions against violent perpetrators are justified if they reduce the suffering or prevent further harm. But there are others who suggest that moral principles and duties alone can justify actions to uphold values and protect rights.
Yeah, I think we have all of those covered here.
Well, I can feel that energy it's like a winter stew. I love it. It's simply, there is no simple single answer, but what we must focus on is thoughtful reflection and open dialogue, and consider the various ethical perspectives that you all share. What I might ask is, if you could, in one word, what is a value that you believe all of you share in this dilemma?
It sounds like freedom is something we've all brought up.
True.
Would you all agree, freedom? It doesn't have to be the only right answer, but a right answer.
It's one common thread among the tapestry of disagreement.
Well, then you are
freedom and action.
Freedom and action. You all desire the freedom, and you all seek to take some action to ensure that freedom. Do I have this right?
Yes.
Well, I seem to have run out of popcorn.
He hasn't even finished popping it.
I'll see you tomorrow.
No. He says, you may see yourself at an impasse here, but I guarantee you that where you sit in your current conundrum, you are well on your way to discovering the solution that you can all agree on. Whether or not you all agree on it in the same extent, probably not. There will be compromises made between you. But you all seek to take action, and a full gridlock with no progress made will result in no action, which means that none of you get what you want. So I believe that in search of this ability to take action to ensure the freedom that you all value, you will take action. Now, is there anything in the way of true enlightenment into the truth, or something that lies in the shadows for you still? Because often we make arguments and we stick to we die on these hills when we know not that there's a taller hill. Is there anything that still remains unknown for you?
Yeah, we don't even know how the hell we're gonna get in.
Very well, very well. And I don't know what that means, but learning how to get in, learning how to get in. In search of this goal, which you will all take together, you're taking action, which again moves you closer to your goal, though you know not yet what it is. You see, you should not feel like you are at a standstill. You're learning and growing from each other, minute by minute.
I mean, I believe we have all reached not necessarily a complete, but at least a partial agreement on the direction we intend to go. It's more of the matter of the particulars, and I guess the repercussions of of whichever action we end up taking. I think that's really what we were just starting to discuss some of the nuances of when you came looking for popcorn.
Oh, well, I do apologize. I hope my presence has not... Anyway, well then what I would recommend is if you have time, if you have some time and you still have things yet to learn, people to consult, I would do that as much as you can and take this as a checkpoint in the argument. Say that we have reached this level of agreement. Whether or not it solves the problem, it is still a measure that we can come back to. And you can use that as a springboard into the solution.
Are you like a conflict counselor or something? Is that how you do?
He loves all form of debate.
I tell you one thing. It's not really a story so much as it is just a piece of wisdom, if you'll allow me. An academy such as this, it's rare, but if you look at it, there are hundreds and hundreds of learned people all coming together, living under a series of roofs in close confinement, with vastly different worldviews, vastly different approaches to how things should be done and how people should think. And you would think such a building would have burned down ages ago, wouldn't you?
Well, I mean, some of the evocation buildings have.
Well, that's all in the pursuit of science. But no,
they burned them down together, right?
Exactly. But this building, this campus has stood for centuries and has been a highlight, a gem of a gem. If Mitros is a gem, then the Academy is a glint of the sharpest, brightest facet of that gem. And the only reason it is such is because everyone who comes here enters a social contract in a way, and that contract is to respect one another. No matter what value, what worldview, what philosophy, what school of thought, each of them shares the aspect of respect. And I can see that between you. You would not be here in one room if you did not respect each other. I can see that you may not have known each other very long, but you have history, you have worked through things, and you will continue to work through things because you respect one another. That's what keeps the Academy going, and that is what will keep you going. Anyway, I seem to have now run out of popcorn. So I know that you all have a lot to think about. Magus, feel free to visit me in my office, and you all have a very good night. I would encourage you to not all sleep here. That seems illogical.
We've had tighter quarters.
Well, anyway, goodbye. Goodbye. Nice to meet all of you.
I do think...
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. He is right that we will still need an invitation. So, and it is getting late. So what about we all take a rest, and tomorrow we do a heist?
Steal from some of those, are we looking at the nobles, or from Lutheria?
I'd be down for either.
Kyra chimes in. She says, we might want to go to the markets as early as possible, because if we wait, then it will be occupied with people. If we can get there when the sun is just coming up, I think that will be our best time.
Right. Some reconnaissance of the markets first. Or at least as far as what we should each be thinking about as we wind down for the night. We should probably at least roughly agree on a target. I'll admit I'm a little, well, I guess after this discussion, depends on if we're really looking to allow some of the perpetrating nobles to be directly affected by the Lady of Coins plans. Then do we look at getting our invitation from Lutheria? I don't know if her priests or priestesses or whatever are also involved in the Minotaur Market or not.
We do need to check up on the issue of divine blood. It's just a question of if we're going after the invitation, if we'll have time to do a full sweep to also look for the blood thing.
I would think that getting to the auction by way of the Temple of Lutheria is advantageous to us. Wouldn't you say, Magus? You could tell Falvin just winked at you.
Poorly.
I mean, yes, actually, this time coyly. For once.
Alright. And I think it's something we can agree on. Tomorrow we visit the markets and then heist the Temple of Lutheria. Oh god, I think I might have a way in.
Mm-hmm. You know you want to go out. You know.
Kyra goes, ooh.
Someone has some sweet portal skills.
Shade would pat Magus on the back and say, "It very well may be for the greater good."
I'd rather not think about that right now.
Kyra says, I really should be just abhorred at the notion, but it really is fun to see you blush, Magus.
Hop through my portal to Joytown.
Good God.
You all can find somewhere else to sleep.
Yeah, Kyra slaps her legs and says, well...
Guess we should head on out.
Falvin, I love the way you said goodbye at Magus' family's house. I'm going to do that every day now. Well, I will be seeing you all. Where are you gonna sleep? Not that it matters.
But I'd imagine like there is
in a bank
there is like enough room in here for people to like get on the
you have bedrolls and stuff.
You got a futon.
Something like
your,
that. Sure.
Your sweet mate is out on spring break right now or summer vacation. No. Yeah, like for simplicity's sake, if you guys do want to find a place to crash here, that's totally fine.
At this point, it's like what 11 o'clock at night or something.
Yeah, it's getting close to midnight. Yeah, and if you guys want to get, you'll need 6, whatever, long rest. We'll say if you start now, I'll let you have been resting the last hour, so you could get your full long rest by 6 in the morning, which will give you time to get over to the markets.
I would also use my ability to not sleep as long.
Okay.
And while I'm here at the academy, I would like to learn another spell.
Oh, okay. So you stay up doing a little reading.
Yep.
What?
And I am going to learn locate object because that's definitely going to come in handy.
Sick. Okay. Locate object. Perfect. Okay. Well, everybody take your long rests. Excuse me. I think some of you have some health to recover. And we'll advance forward by 8 hours.
Whoa, the picture actually got lighter too.
Yeah, isn't that cool? It's like tied to the clock.
I can see the Maltese better now.
Yeah, all of this, hours of discussion just about this bitch right here.
Yeah. Right.
Anyway, okay, so it's a beautiful morning at the academy. All sort of arcane sounds blend with the sound of birds that start to wake up with the very first glints of sunlight coming from the east. It's a pretty short hike. Actually, well, you do have to kind of go down through the Royal Gate, down the switchback stairs, and then up through Stygian
Road. Or we could climb down.
You could climb down. It is up to you. Do you want to do that? It might be a little difficult, but it'll save a lot of time.
Wait.
Hold the phone.
Time out. Is this the cliff face from the intro?
Wait, can you ping it again? Sorry.
Is this cliff face that we're describing, is this not the cliff face from the intro?
From the intro.
That Magus jumped off.
I'm thinking it's more like up here, right? Something like up here.
So should we go to that cliff and scale it down then?
You would go. That's you going up.
Yeah.
Archie, we're meant to be going up, not down. Yeah.
All right. I had to check.
Yeah, this little gully thing here.
Yeah. I would advocate for that because it would get us there faster and also kind of like in the back area, so like we can see maybe what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, and I like to think that
I just want to not be seen by people.
Totally.
So, sure.
This would actually avoid. I won't even make you roll for thronging. It just won't happen. So
there's not a throng hiding in this gulch of a slope going down.
Ditch.
Like, okay, guys, be quiet. Shh. They're coming.
It's the ditch throng.
It's like we're effectively like climbing through a drainage ditch and just gonna throng the people out of the bushes.
Theo, did you say ditch throng? Because that's a funny pun. That's pretty good. Can I just like pause and say that whole dialogue between all of you was so good. Let's give everybody inspiration. If you got inspiration in the middle of the conversation, that's the one you get. But I think everybody deserves inspiration for that. That was so cool. Just being able to just sit back and just listen to an earnest discussion about the world. Amazing. Okay, so I like to think that Magus, you've probably done this little hike a few times.
Yeah, probably.
Because it's like a shortcut between your apartment. Mm-hmm. So if you lead the way, we'll say that people have advantage because you know the route, the handholds and stuff. So let's get athletics checks from everybody.
Ruh-roh.
At advantage.
You said at advantage?
It's pretty steep. It's not like ooh. Oh, yeah.
I'm glad that was at advantage.
Let's see that second.
At advantage.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. Oh boy. Okay. So Theo, everybody gets most of the way down. Theo, you're making you're going a little slow. You got your musket hanging over your back, and you're just carrying a lot of stuff.
Yeah. I got my head down and my horns stick in the dirt as I'm going up.
And at some point, your grip loosens and you begin to slip and fall. So make a dexterity save.
Dexterity. I'm very dexterous. Oh shit.
Okay, wow. You tumble down the last like 20-30 feet of this cliff, and I'm gonna have you take 2d6 of bludgeoning damage. You take 7 bludgeoning damage as you kind of tumble and then land in a little dust cloud at the bottom. And Rue goes, I bet you wish you had wings, don't you, Theo?
That's the next thing on the agenda.
Well, you can't take mine.
Don't worry, I need some bigger ones.
I'm a free bird.
You are.
Wow.
If only Minotaurs could be as free as you are.
Okay, so you guys make your way down to it's essentially the back side of the Minotaur Market. This is like where it is situated is kind of it's kind of tucked away. It's the only way you can normally get to it is by going, all the way up through Stygian Row, following the river. It's a dead end street of dead end streets essentially. Whereas Stygian Row itself is home to a lot of very vibrant culture, the Minotaur Market is like, it's kind of the stain on the neighborhood. But let me take you guys to a new map.
Hey, I can see it.
Good. Okay, cool. So you guys are...
It's live. Look at the birds.
Yeah.
It is.
Isn't that neat?
See how free they are?
Look at them.
It is light. Let me illuminate.
Turn your lantern off.
Can you see him now? I don't know how to turn that thing off. It's just always on now.
It's just a part.
I picked up this magical lantern and it never turns off. It's like the perpetual nightlight.
So you guys move through the northern extent of Stygian Row. You crossed over the little river, and you come to kind of a short fortification wall that would be common on like a barracks sort of situation. And you guys can feel free to move yourselves up to where there's like a wall up here with a gate on either side of these tent cities. And please forgive the crudity of this map. I didn't have time to make it to scale.
Yeah, the birds, they're way too small.
Well,
Can Rue go get some of those?
They're high up. Sure, yeah. Do you want Rue to go and get a bird?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
They're looking fine.
Rue make a just an unarmed, or like a whatever opinion storm attack. These birds have like a...
I think this would be more of a Talon situation.
Talons, oh,
just because, what goes up must come down kind of a situation.
He goes and grabs them. That's fair.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, actually, he's not able to get it. There's a bit of a like a dogfighting sort of thing happening up in the air, and you guys can see that, like, get the fuck, get back over here. Just this
swearing.
Just this muffled swearing up in the sky.
Damn it, get back there.
Oh, I love that. Anyways.
Get back here so I can eat you.
I just want to pet you so hard.
So you come through this small commerce gate, and tucked away in the deepest corner of Stygian Row, you find the Minotaur Market. At the center of this marketplace are large bronze cages which surround a central raised stone platform. A rank barnyard odor assaults your senses. You can see several minotaurs locked within the cages. The minotaurs are physically fit, one of them particularly so. Looks like he maybe gives Graxus a run for his money. But they are filthy, and you can sort of see like bruises and superficial cuts on them. To the right of the platform is a large, fine crimson red tent with a sign above the door reading Proximo the Collector.
That was the dude that owned the menagerie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are we attempting to stealth or in disguise or anything?
Yeah, good question.
Falbin's definitely moving in stealth.
I mean, Shade would do what he can, like, with his cloak, but he does kind of stand out a little bit, so...
Sure.
He's doing what he can.
I mean, same thing. I don't want to be thronged.
Right.
Oh, my light turned off.
Looks,
Whoa! I can't
looks,
see.
Looks a little bit. Wait, can you not see? You can see.
No, I see.
You can see. Shade, there's also a. Actually, Shade, roll an intelligence check.
Intelligence check.
Yeah. Or
Yeah, how smart
intelligence
are
or
you?
history. Probably just intelligence.
Intellectual history.
Yeah.
A 16. This tent and the name really strikes you as familiar. You're not 100% sure, but like there's a familiarity there for you. So what are you guys doing? So Falbin is sneaking. Shade is kind of. What are we doing?
I'm pretty much following Shade's lead. This is for Shade to understand what he does not understand.
Well, do we know how exposed Magus has been to the
Magus has
slave trade?
fought a guy. I'm guessing it's this guy that.
So like, Magus isn't personally invested in the. He does. It's not a personal thing to him, like it is with Falbin, but he does. He abhors it on a principle, and one of his stated enemies in Mitros, is a dealer in the Minotaur markets that he's had a physical altercation with over the treatment of the Minotaurs before. So probably not as familiar, but he has an idea.
So in that case, is Magus moving stealthily too? Because I would think that you probably have a maybe you're not allowed in.
Oh, if I'm not allowed in, then I've gone full alter self, and I'm
Okay. Yeah.
random NPC number 5.
Cool. Love it.
If I'm not allowed in, I'm doing it anyways, because...
Cool.
Because magic.
You are now.
Yeah, it's awesome.
You are now Steve. And you start to make your way in. You don't see anybody hanging around outside, but the tent door. The flap on the tent is flapping. It is not like cinched shut. It's somebody has gone in there.
I mean, Shade would turn to Falbin and say, point me in the direction of what you think I need to see. Because he doesn't know what to look for. He sees people in cages,
yeah.
which, okay, that's
so
bad.
It's been 100 and some years since Balvin was here, so...
Like, the obvious thing is to check the tent, but that's probably... Like, I guess Shade would say the obvious thing would be to look at the tent, but I feel like that's where they're going to show the best of it rather than the worst, which is what we're trying
Would Magus know of any, like, punishment areas?
You know that there is a slave house. I feel shitty like using these terms, but that's what's going on. There's a slave house behind the cages where more are probably kept.
Yeah, like Magus would just point in that direction.
And like you said, we don't see anybody around right now, right?
Nope. You can guess that there's probably somebody inside the tent, but besides these minotaurs in the cages, there's nobody around.
So I guess Shade would basically start heading in that direction.
Yeah. So you're heading that direction. Give me a perception check. Okay, so two things. First thing, you're getting closer to the tent, and there is a smell coming out of the tent that you are positive of now. It is something that you smelled in Arisia the last time you were there, like some sort of incense. And the second thing is you're getting close to this cage here with the Minotaur in it, the huge Minotaur, which now that you're up next to it, yeah, this guy was about Graxus's size. And he looks through the holes of the cage and he smiles at you. And he says, "Hello."
Shade would kind of glancing a little, I don't know about necessarily confused, but just kind of like, I don't know, oddly looking at the tent. Then he'd look at the Minotaur and say, "Hello."
I'm kind of hungry. Do you have anything to eat?
And Shade glance around, seeing that there's nobody that's gonna effectively jump in and intervene, reaches back and grab a rations and hand it through the bars to him.
Yeah, he very, very calmly and politely takes the food from you and starts to eat it. Not like, ravenously, but he's savoring it, and this is delicious. Thank you.
Shade would ask, how do they treat you?
Oh. I would like to tell you, but are you here to shop?
No.
No? Well. And you're up close to him now, and you're looking, and he is covered in scars and bruises. About half of which are healed, some are fresh. This is not great.
What is your oath for?
Ooh. And he looks over your shoulder at the tent, and he says, No, sorry. If you have any extra food, please, I'd love to take it off your hands. They don't really like it when I ask for more.
Jade would hand him another rations.
Thank you. You're a very nice person.
Are there more Are there more and he'd point at the building behind him. Are there more in there?
Yes, there are. You look like you have a lot of money. Do you think you could maybe buy me and my friends? You seem nice.
I don't know if I have that much money, but we will see what we can do.
Okay, well, the man inside is the one you want to talk to, the man inside the red tent. And you're very nice. He might cut you a deal. I would love to work with you.
Maybe I'll talk to him after I take a look in this building.
Oh, I'm pretty sure the door is locked. I don't think they'll let you inside.
Falvin walks up to it stealthing and he begins to pick the lock.
Let's have everybody roll stealth checks, please.
Oh no.
Okay.
Because you are walking right by the entrance of
Not
this
that it
tent.
matters.
It does matter.
It does matter.
I'm gonna use my conversation inspiration to re-roll that one.
That was actually not bad. Oh, okay.
Well, I'm gonna also use my conversation
Inspiration.
Mildly better.
Okay. Megas, as you're the last one to pass by the tent, you hear a voice from inside go, "Hey, who's out there? Oh, it's opening time already. Well, hey, come on in."
I look to the rest of the group and like I kind of motion like I think I gotta go to not raise suspicion.
I mean, you are random citizen number 5, so you should.
That I am. So I'm gonna go into the tent.
Okay. Yeah. I will give you the benefit of the doubt that he doesn't move from his position inside the tent and doesn't notice the rest of you continuing on your way, so you will have to be quiet doing what you're doing, though.
Right.
So
I'm gonna try and cover.
So Megas, you in your disguise as an NPC enter the luxurious flowing crimson red tent. And inside, a figure is sitting at a desk across from you. The man is wearing a flowing tunic affixed at the shoulders with ornately crafted brooches. He looks up from a mountain of paperwork to meet your gaze, and says, "What's your name?"
Oh boy.
Magus Lampras Bromius.
Tom Bombadil.
And Shade, I'll give you hear his voice from the tent. This is the guy that you were about to accept a job for before you received the summons from the Oracle.
Whoa. Good one, DM.
Falvin doesn't know this, so he's just picking away at the lock.
Whistling away.
Shade's thinking, dodged a javelin there.
Which is really funny because the last thing he said to you as you left was I think he said "Oh, it's probably for the best," as you left, and it definitely was. So let's get a stealth check from Falvin, and then we'll bounce back to Megas.
Sure.
Oh, I know.
Well, so do it. No stealth. Sleight of hand.
Oh.
And you will not have a hard time getting in, but if you roll low, you might make some noise.
Okay.
18.
And yeah.
18. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good. You very silently pick the lock. There's a small click, but only audible to those of you that are right there. And the door starts to open. Megas, you enter this tent and you are met with this merchantman, the collector named Proximo, and he asks you your name.
Yes, my name is Steranos.
Steranos, that's a good name. Strong Arisian name.
Indeed. I do hail from Arisia.
Oh yeah, Well, no, we'll go with Arisia. Yeah, strong Arisian name. You ever been to the Chili's to go?
Love their cheese curds. Yes.
Yeah, so you're a man after my own heart, getting up bright and early, and you know what you're looking for. I'm a purveyor of vast variety of all manner of beasts and creatures.
Well, of course, we here in Arisia pride ourselves on aestheticism, as you know. I am here on a bit of an envoy from an employer who wishes to remain nameless, but wishes to scope out the potential opportunities with here in workers, as you might say.
Oh yeah, well we got some great workers. They're strong. They do what they're told.
Fantastic.
At a fine price too. You won't find any better.
Fine. What kind of scope you might say as skilled versus non-skilled labor?
I mean, if by skilled you mean they can, eat their fill and not complain too much, that's about it. I've never seen one doing figures.
Of course. Non-skilled and perhaps could help with more artisanal work, perhaps.
What do you mean? Like painting a fence?
Well, sort of that thing. So, like, if my employer were to want to, say, construction project, would he be able to use these workers to just lay bricks on top of another, or could they add various filigree, or perhaps are there any skilled in more interesting carpentry works?
I'll tell you what.
Or would he actually have to?
Tell you what. Some of them might be keen to that sort of teaching, but I don't know if they have it in them right now. But I could give you a selection of some of our longer contracts that will give you time to get them trained up in what you need.
Fantastic. Yes, if you could give me a list of those as the charges as well. And I'm just going to try and keep going, like, covering for my friends out there.
Let's bounce time. Let's bounce over. I'm going to bring everybody to this map, so Megas, you'll be able to see it. But so you're at the doorfront or the doorstep of this slave house, and you have just unlocked the door, Falbin. So you're going to move up and open it.
I guess this one.
Okay, so you are in a kind of a foyer where it's like there's a bench for getting boots on and off, and there is kind of not an airlock, but there is like a series of 2 portcullises right here that are they are currently closed. You can see through them, but they're currently closed. And there's a small like hallway that leads down this way.
So like, is there a mechanism to open the portcullis, or is it like we're not getting?
You don't
there?
see one in this room.
So then it would seem this is sort of the only way we can look for something right now. This way.
Shade would try and move carefully up to, I guess, that side of the portcullis to see how much he can see past.
Sure. So inside you can see what looks like a mess hall. So there's several large tables with like scattered plates and cutlery and food from the night before. You can see like bunks, like small bunk rooms on the opposite end. You can hear a few voices kind of mulling about, but some people are sleeping. You can hear snoring. And there are there are two rooms off the portcullis side as well.
And what do those look like? Do those look like cells or like?
No, they look like equipment rooms. Oh, I accidentally pinged something. Why is that happening? Do you guys see a white circle on the map? No. Okay.
No.
Oh, maybe it's because Kyra has vision that you guys don't have. Yeah. So you see like a room just to the left here that has like a counter that goes with a small window into the next room, and there are work shelves and tables kind of all around here with like books and records. And then off to the other side, it looks like a kind of a ready room with there's a couple racks of weapons and stuff. And you hear some snoring coming from the left here.
And from what we can see, or at least what we can see through the multiple portcullises, these rooms back here don't seem to be all occupied.
No.
Or...
Some of them. Sorry, I think I expected you guys would be here later in the day. There should be some more that have occupants in them, but like the majority of these are empty.
Okay. I assume we can't see much of the state of them from where we're at.
Not really.
Okay, so after just momentarily checking that, he would move towards the hallway.
Falvin's gonna like put his hand up and then stealth into the hallway.
Sure.
Yeah, Shade would want to stealth as well.
Sound like the ambient music just changed?
Yep.
Nope.
Must just be my tinnitus.
So, Falvin... Oh yeah, that's supposed to be a door over here. That is supposed to be a door. Hold on, 1 second. I'm just gonna shorten this wall a little. Are you trying to open this door that you're in front of?
I would first do like my typical check for traps.
Mm-hmm.
It's not trapped. Well, it might be. It's a lot of valuables. I would check for traps, and then I would listen and then check if it's locked.
Okay, so roll an investigation or perception. Sorry, because you're looking for traps and listening. 17. You hear silence. You hear nothing, and you don't see anything out of the ordinary.
Okay. And is the door locked?
You twist it and it's unlocked. Actually, no, it is locked. I'm sorry, it is locked.
Okay, I'm picking it.
Okay, sleight of hand. And you're adding your proficiency. I forgot to mention.
Yes. I'm going to re-roll that with an inspiration.
22.
Better.
Nice. Without a sound, the lock opens, the door opens, and that's supposed to be more walls. It doesn't matter. You come into an office. It's a Spartan but well-equipped office. The furniture in here is nice, if primarily functional. There are elements of fancy things from kind of around the world that are, like little paintings and little baubles and stuff that are trinkets from somebody who seems well-traveled. And you kind of get the same, you smell the same smell that you smelled passing the tent. If you want to make an investigation check to make some assumptions, you can, but...
I will.
Okay, this is definitely the office of the guy who is in the tent outside.
All right. right. So I'm looking around for a lever. I'm looking around for keys.
So you don't find a lever, you don't find keys, but you do find a logbook and a lockbox.
Okay.
It's more like a safe,
so
like the
I
size
would
of.
thumb through the logbook to see like what the contents is about.
They are records of. No, I wanted the last one to keep playing. They're records of acquisition and sale.
Okay, so would they also describe the definition of the oaths in question, or is it just about $12 received, $11 out?
If you want to, it seems like it is more of a journal, like logging adventures almost, or expeditions.
Okay.
And like what was found, what was collected, and
Okay.
then what, and then eventually, yes, what oaths were formed. If you want to spend some time to read into it, you can.
Not yet. The strongbox.
Okay, a strongbox. It seems to be made of lead, and it's about the size of like an oven.
Okay. And locked, obviously.
It's actually yeah, it is locked.
So I would check for traps and consider picking it.
Okay. Roll a perception check.
Oh.
Who's the... Okay, Shade, you're right there. So Theo, you're the one in the back. You hear the sound of a chair scooting through a wall.
A chair scooting through a wall.
The chair phases right through the wall. Yes.
Excellent.
No.
The famous phasing chair.
Yeah. No,
with the thronging crowd.
You hear the sound of a chair scoot, and it is muffled as if through a wall.
Aha!
Yes.
Where, like, is there directionality to this hearing?
Kind of to the northeast, kind of this direction.
Oh. Hey guys, I think I heard something over there.
Falman just kind of nods and does that thing where you kind of wave your hand like that's not my problem, it must be yours.
Okay.
And gets back to the safe.
Okay, so you're keeping on.
Fuck you too.
Theo, Shade, do you do anything?
Did we pass any other doors, or is this supposed to be a door?
It is supposed to be a
That
door.
we walked right past. That we walked right past.
I forgot it is supposed to be a door.
I thought. Oh.
I goofed. Okay. I didn't put a door there. But I mean, you can see that it is like, well, I mean, your characters can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna come into this room and be like, "Hey guys," and then I'm gonna like slowly close the door.
on the not make it.
Yeah. See, he's not here.
This is a window right here, right?
Yeah.
How?
It is barred. It is a barred window.
Okay.
Yeah.
How firmly barred does that look?
I mean, they're like probably 1.5 inch thick bronze bars.
Okay.
Oh, that's your daily lifting routine.
Not ripping them out of solid stone, I assume.
With all that milk you drink, your bones are nice and big and strong. You can basically use those as leverage.
Yeah, so
Magus, you're talking specifics with Proximo, the collector.
Yep.
And he says, I think we might have a solution or two for you. Why don't we, it's still early, there's still about another hour before people start to filter in. Why don't we head back to my office and, I'll get the book out with the special lots and, the ones we don't really keep, and we'll see what we can do for you.
Really quick, is there anything else in this tent?
There is mostly like there's some small cages with like sleeping like lizards, and there's like a little monkey. There's like a red panda in a cage, and like a just like a parrot on a perch.
All right.
Comfy chairs.
Right. I'm going to say like, well, indeed, that is something I will want to investigate. Though, in the interest of efficiency, while we are here, can you describe for me some of these, perhaps some of this menagerie that could grace my employer's private quarters?
You got a good eye and a good vocabulary too. Menagerie. That's one of my favorite words. Hey, well, this is an Eurasian macaw, and he'll tell you your name before you tell it to him. I'm just kidding. He's very smart, but he can talk, but he'll repeat things you say to him. This little red panda here, he's real cute. That's all he's got going for him, but he's just real cute. If you scare him, he'll like stand up and do his hands trying to scare you back, but you just laugh. Anyway, so he's.
Could you demonstrate for me?
Oh yeah.
I am trying every delay tactic in the book.
Yeah, he gets up from his chair and he kicks the cage with the red panda in it. He said, "Wake up, you slag!" And the red panda like startles awake and does the stand up on back feet, and he you see him go, you see him look at him.
Very entertaining. Very entertaining. Yes.
Yeah, this red panda is like at the verge of tears. Yeah, back to you guys. Theo, you're kind of got your ears open because you heard that sound. You now hear kind of the sound of like items being arranged, and then you hear kind of a sound of like a key ring coming off of a hook and jingling.
Make the moving forward gesture. The guy next door is waking up. He's gonna be coming out.
Shade would tap Falbin on the shoulder and be like, kind of the thumbs like, let's go type of thing.
Well, it may be too late at this point. Sounds like he's already getting his keys to leave the damn room. We may need to wait here a little bit for him to leave.
Somebody roll a d20, which is just going to be for luck.
Yeah, not that it matters.
And this will be flat, no modifiers, no inspiration. Good roll. So you guys are ducking out of the room?
That's what Shade would be wanting to do. He doesn't want to get stuck in here, especially when he knows Magus is buying time outside.
Basically, you can do whatever you want, but the fact that you rolled high on the 20 means that you have a moment to act and make a move before he exits the room.
Okay, well, real quick, Falbin's preference is to kill the motherfucker with the keys.
Yep.
And he's an assassin, so, that's normal for him. If you both want to leave and, sneak and hide, Falbin's okay with that.
No, do you want me to hold the body?
Wants to leave. Okay, so Shade might be an accomplice. All right, cool.
Crimes.
So what are we doing? Leaving the building or murking the guy?
Well, it sounds like Shade's been outvoted and that Theo and Falbin are just gonna...
There's a reason we separated one of the naysayers.
Consensus.
Okay, so
Oh my gosh.
the door
So
opened.
I'm gonna go ahead and he's entering.
No,
the room?
go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm gonna switch places with Shade, and
Right.
then my intent is to shank the dude.
Okay, so it's this door that Shade was referencing in the hall. This one here. That door opens, and a guard steps out into the hall. And he's looking this way. He's like going back towards the lobby. And yeah.
And I'm sneaking up behind him.
Okay. So you Sam Fisher up
and-
behind him. Let's roll a quick initiative.
Do you think
We
you
don't
can
have to do
petrify him?
we don't have to do like a combat order, but like just roll your. Well, actually, no, we should. Okay, encounters created. Go ahead and roll initiative whenever.
Falbin is surprising a dude. He has no chance.
Oh yeah, no, this guy rolled a 6. I was like, Theo, why are you injured? Because you fell down the fucking hill.
Yeah, the goddamn cliff.
Okay, Falbin, so you are like Sam Fisher, just like right behind this guy, crouch walking as he, walking down the hall. Go ahead and do your thing.
Yeah. I don't know the full crimes of this guy, so I'm going for a unconscious move here rather than a.
I flipped
murder.
his image so that he's not looking right at you as you do this.
Yeah.
I just
don't look
felt
into his
wrong.
eyes.
So I'm coming up behind him, and I take my rebound dagger and I just smack him a real hard good one on the back of the skull with the hilt.
Okay, give me an attack and damage roll.
Why can't I find that?
I mean, it'd just be your rebound dagger attack. I'll let you do it non-lethally because you have him, surprised that that's a hit. You
If
did
this
not.
is a surprise, then it would be a crit.
Uh-huh.
Should I roll the crit?
Roll the crit.
Okay.
Critical.
This is your specialty.
That guy fucking dies.
You crack his head a little too hard.
It'd be this one.
Yep.
You got to drop on him, so drop him.
Drop him. Wow. 46 damage. Yeah, so with the sound that it makes in like Batman Arkham Asylum when Batman just fucking like head crunches a guy's head into a wall, that's what this does. You bash him over the head so good. He's not dead, but he's going to come back different.
Personality will shift.
Yep. So, yep.
All right.
Solve my guard puzzle. But he does have a ring of keys and a breakfast sandwich.
Yeah, so I pick up the breakfast sandwich, take a bite, take the keys.
I am going to look through the room and see if I can find alcohol to splash on him so that when he's late for his post and they come to investigate, they think he's just drunk.
Yeah, each of the nightstands of the three cots has a sizable amount of like random liquor in it. So yeah.
Excellent.
Shit.
I'll dribble some of that over him, put the bottle in his hand, put him back under the blanket and pillows.
Wow.
The massive head wound be damned.
No, he just won't remember what happened last night, so he won't be able to tell anybody shit.
Okie dokie.
So I'm gonna go back to the office and I'm going to see if the keys are related to the safe.
So the safe, it uses a combination lock, not a key.
Oh. Okay. I don't know if we want to bother with that right now. That's not the main mission. If there's time left, then we'll come back.
Is it bolted down?
I will take the logbook.
Yeah,
Yes, for sure.
Is there a
Shade
way that I
would be
could
definitely on board with that.
Can I investigate this thing and see if there's a way that I could find out to chisel it away and put it in my bag?
Yeah. So it is freestanding. I'm trying to think how much a lead line safe the size of a kitchen oven would weigh. Probably at least 500 pounds, right? Like,
yeah.
If I were
a hard time getting it in the bag.
I've heard
if I had a tiger tip it and then fall into the bag.
I've heard lead is heavy. Yeah.
I don't think it'll go into the opening of the bag is the problem.
I mean, it's magical.
Yeah, I think the dimensions would work. It just you might have to dump everything else out.
Nope.
Okay, now
I did sell everything for the most part, so it's pretty empty at this point.
The big axes and skulls are still in there, right?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
I had notes on what I have in there.
I'm pretty sure
while
that's
you're
right.
perusing that.
While you're perusing that,
I'm gonna check if the keys relate to the portcullis.
So you approach the portcullis, and there is no lock visible on the portcullis. You would guess that the mechanism is inside somewhere, perhaps in like one of these off rooms.
Okay, so I have the Ultrias map and the huge Minotaur axe, which is 100 pounds. Cockatrix, one platinum, 5,500 gold, but we distribute that, and a mithril ingot, and then I gave a lot of stuff to Vulcan.
I'm gonna say gold doesn't count. We're gonna do video game rules where like, gold is just doesn't matter.
Well, I gave that to Pythor too, that platinum
if
thing.
you want to
really
try to get this safe,
Cockatrix, a huge Minotaur axe, the Ultros map,
and the
because we
bag
gave
of
the skulls
holding,
to the dwarves.
the bag of holding can hold how much weight? Is it 500 pounds?
500.
You know what? I'll make an adjudication. If you empty everything out of the bag, you can put the safe in there.
I don't want to expose the Ultrias map. Let's just keep walking.
Okay. Somebody else could just carry that, because it's big, but it's like the size of a.
It's a pretty sweet box, though.
It's like the size of like an Xbox, like a big Xbox.
And we literally did have
like
the king present that to us in front of a huge assemblage of the city. So.
They may notice.
That's true.
And recognize it.
Shay, do you want to try to pull this, lift this portcullis?
Well, hearing the snoring over here that we heard when we walked in, Shay doesn't want to make any more noise than necessary. Like, he just was trying to get an impression of how they treat the slaves here, which is already not looking very not favorable even from what he can see. But like the whole like triple layer security thing is a bit more than he was hoping to have to go through. Most of what he's just seen on the Minotaurs outside has answered a lot of his questions.
Yeah.
Even from the fact that he was like, I don't really want to talk to you, because implying that it would violate his oaths. Mm-hmm. It's like, that's already pretty sketchy. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't even say anything.
Let's bounce back to Megas. So, you finish getting the full description of these animals and trinkets and stuff, and he says, "Well, so if any of these struck your fancy, or should we move on inside to where the goods are, the real goods?"
Right about the time where Shade is like, "Let's get out of here."
Right. Yeah. I think I might have an interest in this little panda thing here. How much for it?
This old thing, let's see. I'd give it to you for 300 gold.
300 gold. Fantastic. And I'm going to start asking about like proper care and things like that for it.
I just feed him whatever I find, just give him a little kick every time he gets antsy.
Noisy.
noisy. Yeah.
And how old do they live for? And
I don't know. I just picked him up about a month ago. Yeah.
So many times to kick them.
I'm afraid. Well, okay. If I don't know how long they live for, I'm not sure if 300 gold is an appropriate price for something that could die in another year.
All right. Well, how about we go inside? I'll see if I can track down some paperwork, and maybe there's one I've sold before.
Go.
I still haven't seen them come out.
No. You guys are leaving? You guys are not going inside?
Shade doesn't want to have conflict spur of the moment, so he would be pushing to let's get out.
You're going
and see
for
if there's
low
another
friction investigation right now.
Yes.
I got it.
Yes.
Okay.
Even just like Falvin taking down the guard is like,
yeah,
not uncalled for, but more than we were hoping for with just reconnaissance.
Sure.
I used the blunt side.
You did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Yeah, very well. I'll go ahead and take this little fellow with me. Out of the way of. Could you help me get the cage up here?
Are you talking to me?
Yes.
You didn't bring anybody with you?
I was here simply to gain information.
Or do you want to take him with you? You want to take the cage?
Yes, I do.
Well, my back isn't good anymore, so kind of.
Fine. Do you have some sort of a leash or something then?
Oh, well, yeah, sure, yeah. He kind of takes a spare, like a gold-trimmed decorative rope from the tent, and does a kind of a too tight of knot around this red panda's neck, and then gives you the lead end. And he takes the gold, and he says, "Oh well, I expected to do a little more business with you, but hey, you know where I am, and if you ever want something, discreet and worth your while, you know where to find me."
Indeed, I believe I will relay this to my employer, and hopefully you will be hearing back from us soon.
Very good, very good. All right, well, Mr. Cernopoulos, nice to meet you. Cool, and he
NPC 5.
He huffs and sits back in his chair,
Okay.
And yeah, you guys exit, and I'll take you back over to the market.
I am short 300 gold, but I didn't have to go out and investigate things.
Okay, so you guys are back outside, and the Minotaur.
And I have a panda.
The Minotaur in the cage that you spoke to, Shade, he puts his finger up to his mouth, and in that he's not going to say anything.
Jade kind of nods in thanks. And I guess we head out of this area quickly.
Before we leave, Falvin would take the logbook and discreetly hand it to Shade and say, "I think the answers you're looking for will be here."
I think you're correct. And we would start heading out of this area.
Yeah, you get out of the market square about 10-15 minutes before people start shuffling in. Where do you go to look at the book?
We could climb back up to my apartment.
That's what Shade was thinking. He's like, he doesn't want to do it in this area.
Yeah. And also, if we're going to do a heist next thing, Magus wants the armband back.
Sure. We'll say you guys easily make it back up to the apartment, and we'll end with this. You get into the room, and you crack open the book on a coffee table, and you guys are all around it. And essentially, what this book is it's describing it's describing mercenary raids against village tribes of centaurs, minotaurs, goatlings, and how many they got, how many they unfortunately killed in the process, what the oaths were sworn to be, and then what sale reason they were going to be what reason was going to be given for the sale. So you basically have codes that match up between X Minotaur taken from this village, but then the reason for the sale is like delinquent taxes of my Trojan citizen from Stygian Row.
Right, so straight up laundering of
flesh,
slave trading.
Yes.
And by force taking them.
You'd see, like, as Shade's reading some of this stuff, like almost mostly unconsciously, like his nails extend out of his hand and just kind of like scratch the coffee table a little bit. It's like, and after however long it takes to get through a representative portion of the book, Shade would just kind of, Falben, I think I'm seeing this a lot more like you now.
Falben would just kind of nod, not really say anything.
So, before we end, what I'll give you from this is that it seems like basically the Proximo, the collector, he's abducting these minotaurs and centaurs and stuff, and then he makes the oath and then sells the oath to nobles under false pretenses. So the nobles who buy them may not be aware of how they came to be, essentially.
Right. Still.
Right. I just want to make sure that was known. At the best, it's willful ignorance of a obviously not great situation.
Right.
Even if it's not outright, investing in slavery, proper slavery.
Right.
Instead of like indentured slavery, this is literally just go and kidnap people.
Yep.
Slavery.
Yep. Exactly. So, yeah. Cool. We'll wrap there. We can.
Real quick question for the DM.
Let's table talk for a few minutes. We're done RP game wise, but.
Are you going to let me carry over the D40 to next game? I feel like I'm kind of stretching it at this point.
I think so. I think, especially knowing that it's really not that much better than 2d20.
Double crit. Yeah, it's fine.
I think at this point, hey, impress me enough to get a new one. And then, no,
because if you weren't,
what do you think?
Then I was going to use the D40 on an animal handling to make the red panda my friend.
Well, okay, here, just do that before the end of this session, and then the oath will have been fulfilled. Just do it now. Roll the animal handling check now.
Okay, yeah. Let's see, what bonuses do I have to animal handling? It's like a +1. Yep, it's a +1. So I'm rolling a D40 +1 to make this panda my friend. Hey,
27. Yeah, that's a really good roll. We'll say this panda was already kind of domesticated in the first place. You almost think that it was not a wild red panda. Like it maybe belonged to somebody. And it was living in pretty harsh scenario, being kind of mildly abused by Proximo. and you just are able, like, you make it comfortable. You loosen that knot that he tied over around his neck, like the first chance you got. You carried him really gently, and gave him treats as you walked. And by the time you got back to your apartment, he was looking to you for, just he would follow you now.
Yes, I have a pet.
You have a little more, effort, and you'll have a familiar.
There you
Does
go.
it have a name?
Not yet.
Not yet.
All right,
Well,
next session.
I'll think about that over.
Join us next session.
Falvin,
Finally, Groot has a mount.
oh my god. Well, Falvin, that GIF you posted or that video you posted is the reason why this happened.
I was hoping.
Yeah. In our Discord, there was a video of a red panda posted today, and I just, I was like, hey, it made Legend of Korra better.
More of those.
We need more of those.
Yeah.
It's almost cliche at this point, but they're so damn cute.
Word.
And to be able to free
It cost
from
me 300 gold. I hope covering for you guys was worth it.
That was fun. I liked, because I thought you guys were trying to push deeper into the place, and like eventually he was going to be like, no, let's go inside, and it was going to be like either you hide where you are or you make your way in deeper somehow, and it was going to be complicated.
Or you straight up plunge your dagger into his face.
Yeah.
Or that, yeah. I mean,
I feel like I was going to be a mini boss.
this guy really, really sucks. And I.
Oh yeah, like Megas is 100% on board with ganking this dude.
Yeah. So like
I mean, now that we know the truth, we might go back just to get the stuff out of the lockbox.
Did we leave with the keys?
Yeah.
Just a point of clarification.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Sure, why not?
You left with the logbook.
Okay.
He's gonna know that he's been robbed.
Right. And fortunately, since you went as NPC 5, he won't know who to flag.
Yep, it will never come back to me.
Yep.
Except this random guy who now has a red panda for some reason.
He sure does.
It's like, I bought him off this other guy for 500 gold.
Yeah, well, cool. Wow, man, the whole philosophical discussion, I love that so much, and I hope that this fact-finding went well, or what you were expecting, maybe. And I mean, there's still more to learn, but I feel like I needed to add some complexity to this that was missing before. It's almost complex and simple at the same time. Like, it adds another layer to it, but something that's a little more easy to point at and be like, yeah, this is real shitty right here.
Yeah, well, it's also good too because we had our first hopefully you didn't feel weird about that, Shade, but as you can tell, Falvin feels very much about these things, and just like a promise wasn't gonna cut it.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's like, I get that. It's like, we're in a society based on oaths. Like,
I liked it a lot because I mean, there's this kind of inter-party aversion to oaths because of how they've been abused for so long, but there's still an acknowledgement of how powerful they are. And I don't think in the setting there's anything technically like wrong with doing oaths, because it's basically just, it's a promise with, like, you're saying, I accept the consequences of breaking this promise.
Yeah. I think the thing that was different and made it feel more tense, from my player perspective, was every oath that we have encountered so far has been like functional deal making. It's never been about like relationship.
Sure, yeah.
So what was interesting here was that this was a relationship oath, and
yeah, it wasn't a
almost
transaction
in a way
really.
Was like coercive, because like Falvin was essentially like forcing the point, even though Shade had already voiced that he was uncomfortable with doing particular things. And then, you know, Shade, having worked through like some more favorable wording, was still able to give Falbin like what he was looking for. It was really interesting.
It really was.
I mean, I think it meant, like, from Shade's perspective, it was a, this is something, like I don't want to say compromise, but like a necessary arrangement to maintain, if not enforce, the trust between party members. Like, we've already put our lives, literally put our lives on the line for each other, and here's something where we are at least somewhat opposed on how to handle it. So it's like, like this is
interesting. Go ahead.
Like, this is, Shade is looking as like, if Falbin feels so strongly about it that he's asking for an oath, like, if I say no, I'm not willing to give an oath, like, that just gonna erode a lot of just trust. So it's like,
damn. So cool. And like,
interesting.
Tim, like, how much writing did you do last week? Holy shit! Like that was some prepared stuff.
Yeah, not too much, to be honest. ChatGPT helped me. Help me put
I was wondering about that.
some of that into perspective.
Hey, you know,
it's hard for me to really get into Theo's personality sometimes, where I'm like, that's how I would think about it, but what would he think about it?
Right.
And so, like, GPT kind of helps keep it focused.
Yeah, totally.
Like, I've given it a lot of information about
keeps it tied to
Theo,
the philosophy.
and then I'm like, what would he do? What would he think here? What would he, that kind of a thing, and it's really helped me a lot.
So it's like, it seemed like personal freedom, right? Like that's like his mantra.
That's like a core principle of Theo, because his island was taken over cultists, and a lot of the people he knew were put into slavery, and his mother died to that process.
Yeah.
So like, this isn't some abstract thing like in the back of his mind. Like, this happens out in the world. He has seen it firsthand, and to him, like, it is the embodiment. It's the most evil thing you can do, is to take someone's freedom, because he lived that growing up, in that everyone thought he was nothing, and he didn't have the same freedom that everyone else did, and it really limited what he was able to do. So like, having been through all of that, it's like no, these people need to pay for their actions.
They need to go.
Yeah, it's not good enough that you just free the people. These people need to have consequences for their actions. They don't get a free card. They need to feel the weight of their sins.
I'm interested to see like what consequences will be assigned to who based on like what comes from the logbook, right?
I mean, Shade's like, you know what? Maybe just petrification is a little lenient for these mercenaries.
Well, here's the thing, like the mercenaries probably aren't invited, right? Like it's the nobles who are going to be there.
Right.
Yeah.
So we need to make a bigger bomb.
Well, like Magus's perspective now is like absolutely gank the mercenaries, and then try and figure out like if it's possible, if there's some kind of legal means to, because like slavery is illegal in Lytros. The only reason that this has been that the Minotaur Market has been able to go on is because of the idea of like, oh, it's actually indentured servitude, which is a hand wavy way to get around it. But like, you know, like, would it be possible to say like, no, this was actually slavery? All y'all nobles, all of your contracts are null and void. You need to release all oaths now by order of the royals.
Maybe. I mean, this is at least a start to a case like that.
Yeah. that would be Magus's ideal resolution to all of this, because it's still going to cost the nobles a fair bit.
Oh, 100%. I mean, it's going to be embarrassing as hell, and like, if
but
all these
probably
oaths...
not to the extent that Falvin and Theo want.
Sure. Like, yeah.
So we just convince, we get that legal proceedings in motion, convince the Lady of Coins to only petrify some of them, and then we go out mercenary hunting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because my goal this week was like, okay, it seems like I have created a very like narrow path of resolution for this, and a lot of it is like not at all tied to what y'all's players' motivations are. And like, I was thinking like particularly Shade is like, why can't we use like legal channels to do this? And in my head I was like, oh well, because the nobles own the courts. It's like, well, but you know, like, it can't just be that simple. So like, we made it a little more complex, and in doing so provided a little more avenues for moving through it. So hopefully this gives you guys some more options, even if it makes it a little more complex.
It does, and it makes the world more rich,
right?
And it makes it more immersive, and I appreciate you.
Hey, well,
yeah, get appreciated.
You
know what? Have some inspiration for you, not the DM.
Yay!
for you, not the DM.
Oh,
okay?
for me. Okay.
We are inspiring you as a person.
Okay. I'm trying to think if there's anything in my life that I roll and want to roll again. Like,
next time you're like, should I DoorDash?
If it's a car, I'm like, no, one time is fine.
No, it shouldn't be that kind of a roll. It should be like, should I DoorDash or not?
Should I DoorDash or not?
Not like half my mortgage is going to be tied up in this kind of a finance.
Okay, so it'll be like, oh, should I get that scarf? And it's like, yes, get that scarf.
Yeah, there you go. You know, sub $50.
Okay.
Kind of
you know what? I'll take it. I will take it. Thank you.
You can roll a D40 for that. You can roll a D40.
I cannot.
Crit success on that will give you 2 door dashes. You can double dash.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
I cannot stop thinking about the auction itself, because like the more we get into this, the more complex that gets.
Yes.
Man.
And like, Magus is totally on board. Like, yes, let's rob the nobles blind. Let's send a message. Let's free all the Minotaurs. He just draws the line at like mass petrification.
Right. Well, here's the thing. Not that you need the nobles' support, but they are powerful and they can sway a lot of people against you. If you fuck them over, you know.
The thing.
Yeah, but you know, you do know that the auction is a disguised event, so you would be in disguise when you go.
Yeah, which would also be an interesting thing, because I think the Lady of Coins mentioned that we would have several hours to peruse.
Mm-hmm.
All of Magus's disguise stuff only lasts an hour.
Right. Yeah.
Well, and I'm wondering is how effective is a mask going to be on Shade?
So I was thinking about that, and I'm like, there are certain like just physical attributes that among the upper elite, it would be like, oh yeah, that's Big Tony, obviously.
Oh yeah, 7 foot tall. That's obviously Shade.
Big Tony, the lawyer tiger. But like, so I was like trying to think if maybe there's like a disguise that is offered to guests that sort of like masks physical appearance in some way, like that kind of, you know, averages out height and weight and makes it so that people are truly indistinct. And I'm like, is that too much? But then I'm like, these nobles want to be very anonymous. Like, this is not something they want. They want plausible deniability. So
that's an interesting problem too, because if you think about like how the Lady of Coins talked about like being able to recognize who was or wasn't
right,
right,
it makes
like
it
a troublemaker, as it were.
Yeah.
If everybody's 5 feet tall and looks the same, you like.
Well, but here's the thing.
Especially
like,
after they turn to stone, you won't be able to recognize anyone.
Here's the thing, like, you wouldn't really be able to get anything from their physical, like, even knowing who they were, you wouldn't know if they're guilty of stuff without like talking to them.
Right. Yeah, it would be insight check of like.
Yeah, but I was more thinking about. I was more thinking about if they turn to stone, they're this form that you don't recognize as their original selves, and you have no way of undoing to their true identity.
Well, we'll just bring a Sharpie and
we'll unpetrify them.
We'll bring a Sharpie and we'll write on their foreheads their names.
I didn't even think about that because like
we don't even know their names. That's the problem.
We'll get their names during the party and then we'll write it once they're petrified on their forehead.
Right. Because the people who have altered their identity and come to the secret meeting
they do that all the time. Dude, you know that one guy is gonna be bragging about how much stuff he has and his chalet and whatnot and the wine he has, and you use all those facts, you can deduce who he is. Come on.
Oh man.
Yeah.
What a campaign.
What a campaign. What
a campaign.
Hell yeah.
Next time is the Lutheria heist.
It is. It is, because that's.
Oh, good thing we got an inside man, right?
And I'll tell you who's going to be rolling for sleight of hand then, right, Megas?
Right, Megas? Except it won't be a lockbox.
Oh my god. Yeah, so. Okay, so just so I know what all to plan for, so next session, Megas, you'll go get your armband back.
Yep.
You have 1 day, well, technically 2 days. You have all of today, and then the next day, most of the next day, so you're gonna go to the Temple of Lutheria first to try to look into the divine blood and to try to find an invite.
Yep.
Okay. Sweet. And if that goes poorly, what will you do? Maybe.
It may be worth pointing out that probably at the beginning of the next session, Falbin is going to point out that we left traces of what we had done, and that it's very likely to recognize that they were stolen, they were thieved from, and that will be taken out on the Minotaurs in the cage that very likely saw who went in, whether or not they expose us.
That's a great point.
Falbin's going to be pushing for, we need to go murder this guy. As a heads up.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
I mean, I thought you were going to murder them immediately.
I'm right there with you.
I was waiting for other people to get in line.
Yeah, he didn't want to taint the waters.
That's very generous of you. That is a really good point, though, because, I mean, the Minotaurs were right by the door, and that is going to come back to bite them for sure.
In which case, Megas will be very quickly inquiring as to legal aspects of what all can be done with this evidence that they found.
Yep. Probably worth stopping by Valis's with the book. She would probably have a pretty good idea of what to do with that information. I think we have a lot to work with. This was
we do.
This was a juicy sode, y'all. I liked it a lot. I'm excited to get. I know it was mostly talking, but it's so freaking engrossing. I'm like, Anyway,
we'll have more dungeon crawls. They'll come.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you got
it's gonna be a lot tomorrow. Next time.
The prison you were at had plenty of stuff to do combat-wise in there. Yeah, and who knows? You guys could royally screw up at Lutheria's, and that could go bad too.
That doesn't sound like us.
Nah.
Just fight our way out of Lutheria's temple.
We never do that.
It's funny. Like we're at the point where every time I brush by the random encounters table for Mitros, I'm like, why? We have so much going on right now. Like I cannot possibly imagine sidetracking for anything right now.
This whole slave trading arc is not even part of anything, let alone the Goblin of Malta.
No, it's yeah.
None of this is core.
This is tangential totally. But like surprisingly engaging. I really did not expect. I thought it was gonna be like goblin, like up front. Like, I mean,
let's be clear, it is. And every time I wake up, I ask myself, what would the Goblin of Malta do? And that is how I live my life. Okay.
But I never expected this whole ethical quandary about what to do and like the ramifications of it, and so like. Know that sometimes I don't think some of these things through very well, but hey, we got this great trolley problem, and you guys are really biting into the problem set before you. So I'm really excited about it. Cool.
It's all right. If it goes wrong, it'll just destroy the party. If it goes great, hey, we'll be even better for it.
There you go. I mean, you're legally friends, remember? So like,
we're legally bound.
Yeah, exactly.
We signed a contract and everything.
Oh man. Okay, well I'm gonna stop recording. Well, do you have anything else that you want to put on the record there, Gray?
Not really.
No? Okay. All right. See y'all next week.